And so thank you for joining Genesee Community College's Cybersecurity Awareness presentation. Michael Hastings is from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and he is going to share some critical information with us. So I am going to turn it over to Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning, everyone. This is Michael Hastings from the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, and we're here today to talk about cybersecurity in recognition of National Cybersecurity Month. A little background on CISA, as we're known. Our mission is really to defend today and secure tomorrow. We work as the nation's risk advisor for cybersecurity in physical and cyber infrastructure, really looking at building up protection of federal networks, resiliency, emergency communications, and of course, partnering and sharing critical information out to our agencies and our citizens out in the field. Our vision is to provide secure and resilient infrastructure for the American people, and also to partner with industry and government to understand and manage risk to our nation's critical infrastructure. This is what we do in our different areas: network defense, emergency communications, partnership development, and also importantly, information and data sharing. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we're asking everyone to be smart this month. And along with that, we'd like to share some information. The purpose really of Cybersecurity Awareness Month is to raise awareness about the importance of cybersecurity across our nation. What is cybersecurity? It really is protecting our networks, devices, and data from unauthorized access. Operations versus security. How can we be cyber smart? It seems like everything we do is connected to the internet. How do we protect our private information? As we go out there, every organization, every website we go to, it seems like they want us to open up an account. Give us your name, date of birth, account number, password. All of this opens us up to personal cyber attacks. We can see some statistics down below that 64% of adults have been notified of a data breach affecting their personal data. And, I ask you to think, have you been notified of any insurance company, credit cards, where they send you a letter saying, hey, we're sorry, but one of our vendors has been compromised and your private information is most likely out there on the internet? Not very comforting. What can we do to reduce that risk and protect ourselves going forward? Here's part of the so what. So common sense, what do we do just common sense wise to protect ourselves from cyber attack? Antivirus, you need to have it. You need to keep it up to date on your mobile devices, which is a very common target for cyber attack, and also for any laptops and other internet connected devices. Keep calm, use common sense. If something looks suspicious, sounds suspicious, it probably is. Here's some of the common terms that we use: a bad actor, hacker, cyber attack. Take a look at this email. Would this email fool you? 70% of compromises that happen out there are done through phishing attacks, where a fake email gets sent to you, asks you to click on a link. It looks reasonable. You click on it. Next thing you know, malware, malicious software is being downloaded onto your network, onto your device. So here in this example, you get a legitimate looking email, urgent, software vulnerability. Okay, there's been an attack. You need to upgrade your software. Click here to run the app. Would you click on that link? Most likely, you should be aware of messages coming out like this and not click on the link. Password tips. What do we know about our passwords? There's lists out there of common usernames, passwords that are known, they're for sale. What can you do to make sure that your password is not out there on that list, or that your password cannot be hacked very easily? Number one is use different passwords on different systems and accounts. Definitely do not use the same password more than once. Longest password allowed, 12, 14 characters. Mix of uppercase, lowercase. Reset your passwords every few months. And a great idea is to use a password manager. Which password manager is best? We really don't recommend specific vendor tools, but take a look at them, use your own system, use one that is recognized out there in the industry. Don't use a password that can easily be hacked. Incorrect, wrong password, my password, those things are very easily compromised. How do you protect yourself online? Number one, secure your networks. You have a wireless router. You bought a wireless router at Lowe's or at Best Buy. Did you change the default password? You'd be surprised at how many people plug in routers and use default passwords on their devices. Great way for your network to be compromised. Update your antivirus. Stay up to date. When you get those messages, there's been an update, system update, click, download the current version. Stay on it, because a vulnerability for the version that you're on may be subject to an attack moments later. Multi-factor authentication. Definitely need to have it everywhere. Log on, have your provider send you a ticket or a code to your phone, to your email account. Anywhere multi-factor is available, definitely access that. What about your digital profile out on the internet? You click on pictures, you send them, you post. All of that can be used to build a profile about you out on the internet that can be used to compromise your identity. Be careful about where your photos go. They can also be manipulated, posted in the wrong place, used to create false profiles. What about your kids online? What about your nephews, nieces? Work to keep them safe online. Be involved, know what they're doing online. Are they sharing personal information? Are they posting information that can be used in a cyber attack? Set rules, strong passwords, and also lock your children's credit file. They don't need it until they're 18. It's also a good rule to lock your own credit file. These days, it's very easy to have a credit agency. You can have an app on your phone that will lock or unlock your profile. It prevents unauthorized access to your credit file and for accounts being opened up in your name. Let's talk a little bit about cybercrime. What is it? Cybercrime is any crime that can be committed electronically. This includes theft, fraud, intellectual property, identity theft. So there's a lot of crime that goes on online, and it's especially a popular way for people who live remotely, don't have access to many other types of industry or ways of making money, but they have a computer, they have an internet connection, they're going to try to make money in cybercrime. Malware. So these are different types of examples of malware. Well, malware really is something that can get downloaded onto your computer or your device that gives someone unauthorized access. So how does someone get access to your personal device? Here are some examples. Click on an ad. Then it will download viruses, worms, botnets, ransomware. So you really have to be very careful about malware or giving someone that will enable someone to have unauthorized access to your device. Ransomware is a huge issue now. We're reading about it in the news. Colonial Pipeline, school districts, organizations, even individuals are becoming victims of ransomware. And what often it's downloaded as a malicious email link. If you or someone you know is the victim of a ransomware attack, they may send you an email that says, hey, we've locked up all of your data, or we've exfiltrated all of your data, and unless you pay us in typically cryptocurrency, we're going to post it over the internet, we're going to send it to your employer, and we need this money in 24 hours or all of your identity and personal information is going to be exposed to everyone. What do? Do you pay? Well, there's no guarantee that if you pay, your data will be returned to you. And even if you do pay, there's no guarantee that the bad actors will not sit on your data for a month or two and then sell it to someone else. And then also, you may make payment and they may not release your data at all. So those are some things that you should do in case you're contacted by someone who's attempting to extort via a ransomware attack. Botnets. So botnets are really a huge computer program used to automate tasks on the internet. Are all botnets bad? No. There's some chat bots out there. The botnets are used in marketing to basically get your site or your business rolled up to the top of the internet search engines. However, a lot of these botnets are out there are used maliciously. They go out to send automated cyber attacks. They can gather passwords. They can hijack social media accounts. They can hijack your email to send spam. And also they're used to open back doors on your device where someone may be in your network or on your computer and you may not know that they are there gathering confidential information. What about a physical cyber attack? Some of the best cyber attacks are really low-tech physical attacks, where someone can walk in, plug in a USB device into your computer, insert a DVD, or attack your network through the Internet of Things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but the Internet of Things includes your internet-connected refrigerator, stove, surveillance cameras, Ring. All of these things are very easy to compromise, and therefore they're a doorway into your network. Why do you care about this? Well, they're difficult to identify and detect, difficult to remove, and also I just noticed here too, e-scooters. So we see these ads on e-scooters sometimes on late night TV. Buy this, battery operated scooter, or connect your treadmill to the internet. Are any of these devices secured? Probably not. They can be used, obviously, to get into your network and gather all sorts of personal information. What about phishing attacks? Number one way that identity and cyber attacks happen. Fake messages. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Gives unauthorized access to the system. Click on a link and Boom, there it goes. How do phishing attacks happen? Emails, common. Text messages, could be a phone call. You could get a social media message. You're out there, someone says, hey, do you remember me from the concert last week? You gave me your message. Have something important to share with you. Click on this link. Be aware of messages like that. Suspicious hyperlinks. Why should you care? Very common, happens all the time. Have very severe consequences for yourself and for your privacy. So what do you do if you think that you are the victim of a phishing attack? Number one, report it. Who do you report it to? There's a few contacts out there. Number one, if it's related to your financial institution, call your financial institution. If it's on your phone, contact Verizon, contact your telephone provider. Change your passwords and be on the lookout for identity theft and also for suspicious activity. Are you working on your computer and a pop-up pops up and then goes away real quick? That could be a sign of malware on your system. Going back a little more to the Internet of Things. Lots of vendors out there are pushing smart devices, be connected, medical health devices, toys that entertain. How do you keep an eye on your kids and your pets when you're away from home? Connected to the internet. Well, all of those carry associated risks with it. Here are some common sense approaches to cybersecurity. Be aware of the risk. Don't readily don't post your resume out on the internet. Be aware of people asking for personal information. Train your employees. If you don't have employees, train, educate people who are in your family. Keep antivirus updated. We mentioned securing your networks. Change default passwords. Use a VPN, virtual private networks. Definitely be very aware of public Wi-Fi. If you go anywhere on public Wi-Fi, you have to assume that it's being monitored and that any personal passwords that you enter on Wi-Fi can just be snatched right out of cyberspace. Use strong passwords, and of course, back up your data. If your computer gets crashed, if your data center, gets locked up, how are you going to retrieve your information? Restore from backup. Control physical access. Don't leave your laptops around. Don't leave your phones around. Make sure that all of your electronic devices are physically secure. Play hard to get with strangers. Don't hand out your name, address, even with business cards. Be aware of who you hand out your business cards to. I've heard of examples of people who have had their business cards posted on the internet or posted onto websites, especially individuals that were in law enforcement. Hey, watch out for this person. Here's their business card, their name, address, and their email. Think before you act. A lot of times, cybersecurity is common sense. If someone's asking you, another thing to mention is be aware of independently owned ATMs. You go into a hotel, you go into the barber shop, you go into the airport. Oh, hey, you're in a bar, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, hey, I need money to get, something. There's a little ATM in the corner. That ATM, you don't know who owns that ATM. You put your card in, all of a sudden it's been copied, the numbers, your password's been captured, a fake account's been created, your account, if you use a credit card or debit card, all of a sudden your account is drained, they're gone. So use trusted networks. If your bank is XYZ Bank, go to that bank for their ATMs as much as possible. Or if you can't get to your bank, go to another secure, well-known bank's ATM. Protect your personal information. And we also talked about doubling your login protection using multi-factor authentication. For more information, visit this website right here, CISA.gov, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, StaySafeOnline.org, and we also have another one called StopRansomware.gov. One-stop location on how to protect yourself and your loved ones from cybersecurity attacks. Be safe out there, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Greg.
Yes. And those are very good ideas and information for all of us to follow. Are there things that you find in your experience or working with others that tend to plague your, I guess you could say, your college student of the teen, early 20 years? Where are there certain vulnerabilities that seem to be more prevalent there?
There are a few. Be aware of file sharing. File sharing networks out there. Before it was big on music. Now it could be for information or documents. The other thing is be very, very careful about USB devices. Someone, in your class will say, hey, I have a copy of this document or this resource, plug this in your computer, download it, and pass it around. That's a common way they're passing around, could be passing around malware, could end up compromising your computer. Also be very aware that I see a lot in, potentially in all environments, but especially in college environments, is basically, surfing attacks, where you're, working on a computer. Then this could happen anywhere where you're traveling, you have your computer up, you're working on a document, someone's looking over your shoulder, someone's looking over to the right. They want to know, what you're working on, what you're tapping into, what you're writing about. That's a very common way to steal information. Could have your name and address on the top of your document. So if you're out there traveling, use screensavers, use a small screen, and avoid opening up a large laptop in a common area where people can surf over your shoulder and look at what it is that you're working on that needs to stay confidential.
Thank you. Excellent advice. Another common question that I'll hear from students is, I think I've been hacked, or someone is messing with my accounts, and whether those are just GCC accounts or personal accounts. We do have a campus safety office, and students should certainly stop by there to report problems. But what are other things that students should do if it's something that they encounter and they're not necessarily on campus? What are your recommendations?
Well, I definitely recommend the common sense approach. If you feel that something unsafe is going on, report it to your nearest local authority. If you think that something is going on with your personal device, have it scanned, have it checked out, change all your passwords, and just be on the alert for for basically opportunities or events where individuals are trying to steal your information. Another thing too is you go to a lot of these events, and they here, fill out this card and you have a chance to win a brand new Corvette. All of those are the low-tech phishing attacks. So what they're doing is they're getting your name, your address, your phone number, and your email. Unbelievable how many people fill those things out, and who knows where all that data is going. So avoid doing all that. Another thing is try to stay out of databases. Your information, if something is free, you're the one that's paying for it. I mentioned that to my daughter as well. If it's a free app, she had an app, some sort of exercise app. Hey, this is free. It monitors this, it tells me that, it shows me this statistic. We went into it. It was an application, an overseas application. It had geolocation. It was gathering all sorts of personal data. Mass data gathering attempt. Immediately delete it, get rid of it. So stay away from, passing out those types of information. Anything that's free, you go to a store, everyone wants you to be on their database. So what they're doing is it's a massive data gathering of what you do, where you shop, what you buy, and how you do it. So I go into a store and immediately they start with, can I have your name and address? Can I have your email? Can I have your telephone number? No, I just want to buy the device, buy the item. As a matter of fact, I'm paying with cash. Give me a receipt. I'll see you later. You don't need to build a profile on me. So be aware of that. Everywhere you go, everyone is trying to gather your personal information, and resist those efforts as much as possible, because you don't know where that information is going or how it may be used against you.
I imagine that this is very much related, given the issues that Facebook and many of its subsidiaries experienced in the last couple of days, and that many of us have a tendency to think, well, it's Facebook. I have limits set as to who my friends are and what they can see, and those kinds of things, and that beyond just the fact that Facebook was somehow hacked or they had problems, but there's that sense of safety, again, because I'm able to limit lists or things like that. Are there things that you would recommend that tend to be more popular or common things that people will do on social media sites like a Facebook, like the WhatsApp, like Snapchat, that may not be the best ideas? And again, it's just one of those things where we get lulled into a sense of, well, this is okay. I've got to be okay because I'm not doing something really bad. I think I'm doing something safe, or I think I'm in an area that is safe. So what advice would you give about more of that social media or that sense of safety that we think we have?
Okay. Well, we do know that social media is here to stay, and it's out there. People use it for many positive reasons. So completely being away from social media is not realistic. But what we can do is be aware, number one, that most of these social media sites either have been or will be compromised. And your data that's on there will be out there. LinkedIn, professional networking site, has been fully compromised several times. You list your name, address, where you went to school, who your friends are, all of that is out there, opening you up to a potential identity theft or cyber attack. And the other thing that we just need to keep in mind, that whatever we post out there is going to be out there. So if it's embarrassing, if it's something that can be used against you personally for an extortion, embarrassment, monetary gain, that will most likely happen. And also another thing is, many employers today, if you're in college, you're preparing to go into professional work or whatever work you're preparing to go into, many employers now will do, actually most employers will do a social media search on you, and many employers will request access to your social media accounts. You can decline it, but what the information that's out there on you, if it's embarrassing, if you were, even if it's nothing really wrong, but if you were out there doing something that, out with your friends on vacation in Cancun and, spring break, people are going to see it. Your employer may see it, and it may just have a negative effect on your ability to get the job you want or be used against you in some sort of way. So remember, whatever you post out there is going to stay out there, probably for a very, very long time.
I think those are certainly some good points from the sense of we tend to think of cybersecurity as just stealing information, getting into accounts, and yet your point here that you could be doing something very innocent in the sense that you're posting pictures or maybe saying, hey, I'm just having a good time. But if someone's got a phone running and a camera running, and then that gets posted, that it has a different type of impact on your reputation, your future employability, your current employability. And so I think, again, I think that tends to expand our notion of what cybersecurity is, that it goes beyond just the protection of your accounts, but to also be aware that in today's society, there's a very good chance that someone is recording pretty much everything, and you may be part of that shot and not really expect it, but there it goes. So kind of your behavior out in the real world can sometimes show up on the digital world.
Yes, that's very, very good point, Greg. Everywhere we go, it seems that there's a camera there and someone's listening in. So even if you're at your favorite restaurant or you're at the sports game and you're coming and you're going, and what you're saying, most likely if someone wanted to find out, they could zoom in and go back, and there you are on video and being recorded. We need to keep that in mind as well.
Excellent. So I don't see any particular questions that have come through either on the YouTube or elsewhere. And so I think you and I have had some good conversation as a follow-up to your main presentation. Again, this presentation has been recorded. We're going to make it available to folks out on the GCC YouTube channel so that they can review the information that you shared earlier and that we discussed. So do you have any parting words of wisdom for us, Michael?
Maybe just a couple. Technology is a great thing. We should use it to all of our advantage to help us make our lives easier and get more productivity. But I just ask that everyone be vigilant out there, use common sense, protect your information, and above all, help educate other people or maybe ones in our family that do not have access to this information on how to protect themselves. Really just spread the message out there and help keep your information secure. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate your time this morning, and we'll hopefully learn something from all the advice that was given here today, and to live safer lives out in the cyber world.